Swami Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: Alas, all condemnation upon me. I acted so sinfully that I degraded my family tradition. Indeed, I gave up my chaste and beautiful young wife to have sexual intercourse with a fallen prostitute accustomed to drinking wine. All condemnation upon me. Purport: This is the mentality of a person who is becoming a pure devotee. When one is elevated to the platform of devotional service by the grace of the Lord and spiritual master, one first regrets his past sinful activities. This helps one advance in spiritual life. The Vishnudutas had given Ajamila the chance to become a pure devotee, and the duty of a pure devotee is to regret his past sinful activities: illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. Not only should one give up his past bad habits, but he must always regret his past sinful acts. This is the standard of pure devotion. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadam Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utaf Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishamamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakan Matamsha He Krishna Karuna Sandhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sandhubhyevasha Paditaram Pavanebhyo Vaishamebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namine Pratipadamanukālam Kashta Sadvegadami Sakala Karana Deeparadita Shri Murari Iti Dharani Hitam Svikritya Sakshadharitvam Bhuvijayati Vikaso Bhakti Purvo Yatindra Nijajana Pariraksha Daksha Meenakshi Laksha Pishnamati Vitirnam Trahimam Kamagirnam Tava Guna Kriti Rupam Netra Karnadi Range Pratayutu Mama Divyam Tandavam Krishna Drishte Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Vagisha Yasya Vadane Lakshmi Yasya Chavakshasi Yasyasya Hridaye Samvet Tamrasam Hamaham Bhaje Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so I'll speak about this, and then we'll keep moving through a few of these purports and verses here. So this section of the Srimad Bhagavatam is very amazing. Has everyone seen this book called The Second Chance? The Second Chance. So you see, you know the picture on the cover of the book. What's the picture on the cover of the book?
Ajamil, he's about to die, and he's getting pulled away by the Yamadutas, and then the Vishnudutas come to stop.
Yeah, they come to save him, right? I'm sure there's a. When did you see that book? Oh yes, right here.
Those are right there. Yeah.
Right. So this is the thing.
The college books. You know the college books.
The college books.
Yeah, like when I was with Chandan, remember the.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They
They had the second chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing actually. So we see this over here. That this is a situation, you see, of Ajamil. And then this is what happens to Ajamil again. Over here. Can everyone see this? Mm-hmm. He goes up on a plane to Vaikuntha after meeting the Vishnudutas and practicing. But there's a difference between what from here to here. Something happened. You see? So Ajamil here to Ajamil here. He had to do a few things. So we see this over here that Srila Prabhupada is writing a very amazing purport that the mentality of a pure devotee is that they always remember their past misdeeds. They always remember their past misdeeds. One should not think, that I'm so elevated now that I don't need to think about all the things that went wrong. But these things happen, and we see that even extremely exalted acharyas like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sings bhajans like Amar Jivan. I was thinking of the exact same. Then Amar Jivan, then Emano Durmati, then Bhuliya Tomare Charane Sapiya. Then famous, you're forgetting a very famous one. Look. Gopinath Mama Nivedana Suno. It's such a beautiful bhajan. You can pull that up. You pull up Amar Jivan. So we can understand the mentality of a pure devotee. How does a pure devotee think of himself? How does he feel? Look, I am an impious sinner. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is not Mahotsaha Das. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I am an impious sinner and have created and caused others great anxiety and trouble. English doesn't really do justice to the Bengali. I have never hesitated to perform sinful act for my own enjoyment. Devoid of all compassion, concerned only with my own selfish interest, I am remorseful seeing others happy. I am a perpetual liar, and the misery of others is a source of great pleasure to me. Ashesha kamana hridima mora, krodhi dhamba parayana, madamata sada vishaya mohita, himsa garva vibhushana. The material desires within the court of my heart are unlimited. I am wrathful, devoted to false pride and arrogance, intoxicated by vanity and bewildered by worldly affairs. Envy and egotism are the ornaments I wear. Nidralasyahas sukarya virata akarya udyogi ame pratishta lagiya satya acharana lobha hata sada kame. Ruined by laziness and sleep, I resist all pious deeds, yet I am very active and enthusiastic to perform wicked deeds. For worldly fame and reputation, I engage in practice of deceitfulness. Thus I am destroyed by my own greed and I am always lustful. Eheno durjana vishaya vihina eheno durjana sajjana vardita aparadhi nirantara shubhakarya shunya sadana tamana nana dhuke jar jar. A vile, wicked man such as this, rejected by godly people, is a constant offender. I am such a person, devoid of all good works, forever inclined toward evil, worn out and wasted by various miseries. And this last verse is so amazing. Bhardya ke ekon upaye vihin, tate dina akinchana, bhakati vinoda, prabhura charane koro duke nivedana. Now in old age, deprived of all means of success, humbled and poor, Bhakti Vinod submits his tale of grief at the feet of the Supreme Lord. So this is the mindset of a pure devotee of Krishna. Of course, this is not true for Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He may feel like that, but it is true for every one of us, maybe with the exception of Keshav in this life. But, it is true for all of us sitting in this room. That we have almost really messed our life up big time. If it wasn't for Krishna consciousness, we would be completely ruined. All of us be completely ruined, It's there, you're here, you're born in a devotee family, that's your good fortune. But the fact that you took birth again, do you have any material desires? Even one? Oh wow. I thought you didn't, okay. But if you did, what does that mean? That you didn't make your life successful in your past. That's what it means, right? So, we all in this material world, Prabhupada writes this beautiful thing in his Vyaspuja offering to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He says, forgotten Krishna as fallen souls, paying most heavily illusion tolls. That he says that, we have all, we've forgotten Krishna. And because we've forgotten Krishna, we're here in this material world. And when we're here, we're paying heavy tolls. Like, do you feel like that driving into New York? Coming into New York, the tolls to come inside New York is like $37 or something crazy like that. Do you remember? Right, Rasika Madhuru, you remember the tolls for entering into New York? Like it really it pricks your heart when you.
The traffic was so bad
that the toll you don't even realize. That's there.
So many miseries.
I'm thinking like oh my God, and then the worst feeling is when you're driving into New York and you see that your tank is like it's like just a little above empty. I'm like, oh my God, I have to fuel up in New York now. The gas price is going to be so expensive. The gas prices in New York, where we used to live in Harlem, was like $4 for gas, not diesel, gas.
Oh my God.
You really feel it. And then you have to pay tolls on top of that to enter New York. Another like $37. I'm thinking, oh my God. You feel it so much. Oh man, like paying like this heavy tolls, But what's worse is paying the tolls of illusion. Forgotten Krishna's fallen souls, paying most heavily illusion tolls. But paying the tolls of entering into Devi Dham. Devi Dham. We're paying the most horrible place to be. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that this material world is like a hole into which people pass through. No one wants to come here. But we've made it somehow, we made it. And what's even worse, of all the places, we made it to the material world and we made it to Kali Yuga. Congratulations to all of us. We made it in Kali Yuga. There's Prayan Alpaisha Sabha Kalavasman Yuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hupadrataha. That Prabhupada writes this amazing thing in the purport. Can I see the first canto? I'm curious to see if Prabhu underlined the same thing I underlined when I think it's 1:110. This is an amazing purport. There's one line which really blew my mind. I don't want to get this even a little wrong, so let's see. Over here. Oh wow, there it is. Exactly. Fantastic. I underlined the same thing too. Anyway, the translation, of course, is, O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Then, the part that I wanted to go is in Kali Yuga. It starts off with in Kali Yuga. It's right there in the front. I don't know if it's the same word. In Kali Yuga, the duration of life is shortened not so much because of insufficient food, but because of irregular habits. By keeping regular habits and eating simple food, any man can maintain his health. Simple. Right? Diet, right? Overeating, over-sense gratification, over-dependence on another's mercy, and artificial standards of living sap the very vitality of human energy. Therefore, the duration of life is shortened. Heavy. Heavy. That's so heavy. That overeating, over-sense gratification, over-dependence on another's mercy. Over-dependence. And artificial standards of living sap the very vitality of human energy. That's why in Kali Yuga it's so bad. So we made it to Kali Yuga, Jai, And then in the third canto, the Kapila Dev says, and this is a very amazing thing, it's painfully amazing. It's very heavily amazing, actually. He says that this material world, this is very nice, he says, it's very poetic but very sad at the same time. He says this material world is an ocean of misery comprised of the tears of the fallen conditioned souls. I don't think you'll find it because I don't know the exact verse number in my mind right now. But he says that this material world that we're living in right here is very beautiful. Right? We hear of suffering. Don't worry about pulling it up. It's okay. We can see. So he says this material world is an ocean of misery. Right? We hear this all the time. Right? The world we are living in, this material world we are living in, is an Hare Krishna. This material world that we are living in, we know that it's an ocean of misery. We know that. But what is the ocean of misery made of? The ocean of... You want to move so your sister can sit comfortably? What is the ocean of misery made of? The ocean of misery is comprised of the tears of the fallen conditioned souls. That is so heavy. That the conditioned souls have been here for so long that they've shed tears. And those tears is what comprises misery of this material world. Very heavy. Very heavy. So we are in this material world, and it's an ocean of misery comprised of the tears of the fallen conditioned souls. We come here and we see Bhaktivinoda Thakur also comes here, but he doesn't come here like us. We are bound by the laws of karma. We are bound by the laws of karma. And we're pulled into this material world. And we're forced to enter into a womb of a mother. And we're forced to suffer all the pains and tribulations of being in this material world. But not Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But yet, he writes, look, Bulia Tomar. See, we can see in this bhajan over here, Bulia Tomar Charani Sapiya. Charani Asiya, sorry. Charani Asiya. Pairana Vidabhya. Tomara Charani Asiya Chayami. Bulibo Duke Rakat. Katha, sorry. I forsake you, O Lord, and I think it's force. I don't know what's the past tense for forsake. I have forsaken you, yeah. I have forsaken you, O Lord, and come to this world of pain and sorrow. Now I submit my tale of woe at your lotus feet. While still in the unbearable shackles of my mother's womb, Janani Jatare Chilame Chakon, I saw you before me. You revealed yourself but briefly and then abandoned this poor servant of yours. At that moment, I swore to worship you after taking birth. But birth came, and with it, the network of worldly illusion which robbed me of all good sense. As a fondled son in the lap of relatives, I passed my time smiling and laughing. My parents' affection helped me forget the pangs of birth, and I thought this world was very nice. We see this, everyone, how many devotees have been to Vrindavan here? You're the only one in this room. Yeah, I myself, I'm too sinful to go there. Like, I have never been allowed to go there. But, we can see, like, in India, if you go to India, right, you'll see, maybe it's like this in Guyana also. Like, street dogs really suffer in India. They're not like the great Acharya dogs of this Western world, but they're like, they're like the Das and Udas, like literally, and anyone who sees them throw stones at them. There's no mercy and compassion and all that towards street dogs.
Wow, Riley yesterday, he got the mercy.
Oh yeah, that dog Riley. Yeah, yesterday we were. Yeah, oh yeah, you'll be happy. Well, we were distributing books. I think it was you. Distributed a bhakti sack to it was you. Two Matajis bought a bhakti sack from us and they had a dog. And I asked them, can your dog eat pecans? They said no. I said, can he eat plantain chips? And they said yes. So then, we were feeding the dog, prasadam, and he ate 3-4 and he wanted, the whole thing was really attached to the thing. So we gave her, I said, some plantain chips for you, some plantain chips for your dog, and we gave her half the packet. So now the dog is a prasadam bhakta. So... there's so much love and compassion for dogs, in America. But in India, it's not like that, Right? You've seen this, And the dogs are any dog that you see has scratch marks, bite marks all over it. It's here people comb the hair of their dog, for golden retrievers and all that. They have they brush the dog's teeth. No, I've seen this with my own eyes, I swear to God. They have dog hotels and they go massage their lotus paws, right? But it's not like that, in India, and the dogs are completely bitten and they're suffering like hell. And any dog you see is like, oh my God, he's really depressed. I don't know if it's like that in Guyana, but they're really depressed and they're afraid that who's going to beat me up right now, But the puppies, you see them, they are ecstatic, they're they're in bliss, and they see someone and they come and run up to them and they think, wow, this world is such a nice place. But in 1 or 2 years, when that puppy is grown a little big, gone. The material world hits him and he realizes what a place is, this is hot. I don't know if he has some deep realization, but he's not happy, he's not happy, So we can see the same thing over here. When we're first little kids and we're taken care of by our parents, I want this and I want that, and then the mom and the dad goes and buys it, and the dad doesn't want to buy it, the mom is buy it, it's okay. Oh no, and it's that's how it is, right? Oh no, it's fine, and this and that, and you get everything that you want. And I remember we were all the way, we were in Sandy Ridge, North Carolina, in Prabhupada's village. Devashi's parents drove all the way from, where did they drive? They drove from Orlando. Yeah. They drove from Orlando overnight or something, that they came the next morning. He gave them one call. And they drove from Orlando all the way to Prabhupada's village overnight to come pick him up, and they drove back. So one call from this is so nice when you're young and the parents are all wow, But then when real life hits, we can see what goes on. Vidya, this is big Maya. Vidyara Gaurave Brahmi Deshe Deshe Dana Uparjana Kori Swajana Palana Kori Eke Mane Bhulino Tomare Hari. Traveling from place to place, proud of my education, I grew wealthy and maintained my family with undivided attention. Oh Lord Hari, I forgot you. Badi ke ekon upay, oh sorry, mixing Amarji. Badi ke ekon bhakati vinod kandiya katara ati, nabhajiya tore dina brita gelo ekone kiha begati. Now in old age, Bhakti Vinod is sad. He weeps. I failed to worship you, O Lord, and instead passed my life in vain. What will be my fate now? Is that a verse number 8? No, this is how this bhajan ends, right? So what will be my fate now? So, we should understand that it's not like, okay, he only regrets it only in his old age. But no, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sets the example for us to understand where are we in our own Krishna consciousness. What is our duty? Where are we? How many sinful activities should be performed? Can we even count? Especially for us mediators, I don't know, I'm sure with the exception of, I guess now it's 4 of you. You all didn't eat meat in your life, I hope. I mean, just tasted it or something like that. Okay, but y'all ate meat before coming?
We did. But
Yeah, of course they didn't. Thank God for that, right? They did. But especially we can, I used to think before I came to Krishna consciousness, how many chickens did I eat? How many joints were gone? How many of my limbs were completely destroyed in sense gratification? How many bottles were empty? I'm just thinking how much, and that's just what I ate and drank. What about all the other crazy stuff that I did? I mean, it's just inconceivable actually how sinful I was in this life. It's just in this life, it's such a, it came into the association of devotees at the age of 19, but it was just, how many sins did I commit? My God, But then somehow or the other, we have this golden opportunity of taking to Krishna consciousness. And we should be very realistic of where we are in Krishna. It's very easy to imagine, I'm getting bhav, prem, chanting and we're feeling prem, and then after that we want to watch TV. And it doesn't work like that, You don't get prem and want to watch the Lakers versus Cavaliers or something, You don't get bhav, it's not so cheap. It's not so cheap. What we really need to focus on is, service to Krishna. Service to Krishna. Prabhupada writes in this purport that we were reading today. This is such an amazing purport. Prabhupada says, this is the mentality. This is what, 6-28, right? Our app is way better. Right? The one that we use, Pocket Vedas. Definitely better than this. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. Prabhupada writes, this is the mentality of one becoming a pure devotee. When one is elevated to the platform of devotional service by the grace of the Lord and the spiritual master, one first of all, one regrets his past sinful activities. This helps one advance in spiritual life. We should regret our past sinful activities, actually. I was really thinking, you can pull this up, 11:9:29. Ladvashadir labham idam bahu sambhavante manushya martadam anityam apihadira tunam yatitana patet anumrityu yavan nishreyasaya vishya kalu sarvatasyat. We can see this 11:9:29. Wow, that's right. Why do you have it in blue? Do you know why you have it in blue? Yeah, I mean, yes. You know why? Because when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had this verse put up in whichever room he was staying, he would have this verse be put up. And every day he would look at this verse and he took a vow that he would preach the import of this verse every day of his life until he disappeared from people's mortal vision. I guess I've been quoting this verse since New York.
It would be all over the place.
Always. This verse is so important. This is Bhakti Siddhanta. He took a vow to preach the import of this verse every day. So the translation: after many, many births and deaths, one achieves this rare human form of life, which although temporary offers one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. It's a very heavy thing. We should always remember. We've attained this rare human birth, but even after attaining this rare human birth, we almost blew it. We almost blew it big time, actually. We blew it big time. Oh my God, how close were we to complete ruination? Complete ruination. Complete destruction, complete destruction of our human form of life. Complete destruction of this rare opportunity. Oh my God, to have a human birth. My God, that's such a rare thing, and then whenever I want something, you can, because everyone gets distracted when the screen is moved. So we can see that, we almost really messed up our spiritual life. We really messed up our spiritual life. I'm going to share, anyway, I guess I'll read this out later. But we should see, that, we were completely slaves of the 4 pillars of sinful life in this material world. We took complete shelter of the 4 pillars of sinful life. What are the 4 pillars of sinful life? Meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. We took complete shelter and we completely forgot Krishna. But somehow, by the grace of the spiritual master, we've been given an opportunity of going back home, back to Godhead. So let's not screw it up. Let's not mess this opportunity up. Prabhupada writes, not only should one give up his past bad habits, but he must always regret his past sinful life. This is the standard of pure devotion. That's the standard. We should remember, oh my God, and when we're regretful of all the sinful activities that we performed, then even when we see the objects of our senses, we'll think, oh my God, how did I, I used to do this. I used to do this exact thing. I definitely cannot be attracted to it. I definitely should not be attracted to it. I remember how I suffered. I remember the opportunity I had. I remember the vows I took in front of the sacred fire, the deities, the Vaishnavas, and the spiritual master. I remember the vows I've taken. And because I've taken these vows, I remember them so well. And because I remember them so well, I should not mess up my spiritual life. I should not. I've gotten this human form. Now, here's a ticket out of a material life forever. And therefore, we should be very, very cautious about not messing up our spiritual life. Shuryasya dhara nishita duratyaya. Right? You know this one? The spiritual life is like a razor's edge. Prabhupada quotes this. It's a verse from the Upanishads. It's also there in the Bhagavatam. Shuryasya dhara nishita duratyaya. That the spiritual life is like a razor's edge. A little inattention, there'll be blood. It's like shaving. At least the men, we shave here. It's nice to keep, the blade needs to be sharp in order for us to shave our face and our heads. But while we're shaving, if there's a little inattention, we miss slightly, we'll cut and there'll be blood. There'll be blood. So spiritual life is like a razor's edge. We should be very careful about this. Very careful. A little inattention can cause the greatest damage. That's why it's called api pramadaha. Right? Api pramadaha means what? To be inattentive while chanting. Api pramada. You're inattentive while chanting api pramada. Sadhu savdhan. Be careful. Be careful. This material world is here. It's not a nice place to be. The holy name of Krishna is here. It's not a, that's the only thing to take shelter of. Nam vina kichu nahi koaro chauda bhuvana maji. That in all the 14 worlds, the holy name is the only thing that we can take shelter of. The only thing. That and nothing else. So we should be very careful. We should understand our situation. And then, yes, we may be in a particular place and we think, oh, wow, people of this place, they more attract my senses than people in another place or this like that. But if we look at every living entity that's moving as a walking Srimad Bhagavatam said, right? We always talk about this. If we look at any person who's walking and we think, oh, that person is a Bhagavatam said, we got to go and show them a Bhagavatam. We got to we should go and try to sell them a set of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then at that point of time, the consciousness is completely changed. We should look at every living entity as a prospective candidate for buying a Srimad Bhagavatam. And then if they buy a Srimad Bhagavatam, if they don't buy a Bhagavatam, then we don't want to have anything to do with them, because what kind of a person doesn't want a Bhagavatam, right? What kind of a person doesn't want Prabhupada's books, right? If someone doesn't want Prabhupada's books, then they're, like you said, why should we associate with them? But then, if they buy a set of Prabhupada's books, then we think, wow, it's so amazing. Now that whatever, like good looks, good everything that they have, good intelligence, good this, good that, all of that should be used in Krishna service, because that's what it means. Should all be used in Krishna service. So either way, if you're in the Bhagavatam state of mind, then we will always, even when we look at something, then we will not be affected by the modes of material nature. We will not be affected by the pangs of material life. So, this is the situation. And I wanted to read a few more translation and two purports, very short purports. But when I first read it, it hit me like a thunderbolt. We can go back to 6 to 28. You can just go to the place where we can just see the translations. I don't know if you'll have that here. Okay. Ready? Okay, so this is Ajamil continuing. He says, my father and mother were old and had no other son or friend to look after them. Because I did not care for them, they lived with great difficulty. Alas, like an abominable low-class man, I ungratefully left them in that condition. Next verse. It is now clear that as a consequence of such activities, a sinful person like me must be thrown into hellish conditions meant for those who have broken religious principles and therefore suffer extreme miseries. Was this a dream I saw, or was it reality? I saw fearsome men with ropes in their hands coming to arrest me and drag them away. Where have they gone? And where have those 4 liberated and very beautiful persons gone who released me from arrest and saved me from being dragged down to hellish regions? I am certainly most abominable and unfortunate to have merged in an ocean of sinful activities. But nevertheless, because of my previous spiritual activities, I could see those 4 exalted personalities who came to rescue me. Now I feel exceedingly happy because of their visit. Now this is really amazing. Were it not for my past devotional service, how could I, a most unclean keeper of a prostitute, have gotten an opportunity to chant the holy name of Vaikuntapati when I was just ready to die? Certainly, this could not have been possible. The purport is just one sentence. The name Vaikuntapati, which means the master of the spiritual world, is not different from the name Vaikuntha. Ajamil, who was now a realized soul, could understand that because of his past spiritual activities and devotional service, he had gotten this opportunity to chant the holy name of Vaikuntapati in this horrible condition at the time of death. Because of identifying, now these purports are just amazing. These purports are so amazing. These are very, very amazing. We'll read the translation and purpose of the next 2 verses. Because of identifying oneself with the body, one is subjected to the desires for sense gratification. And thus one engages in many different types of pious and impious action. This is what constitutes material bondage. Now I shall disentangle myself from my material bondage, which has been caused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead's illusory energy in the form of a woman. Being a most fallen soul, I was victimized by the illusory energy and have become like a dancing dog led around by a woman's hand. Now I shall give up all lusty desires and free myself from this illusion. I shall become a merciful, well-wishing friend to all living entities and always absorb myself in Krishna consciousness. Now this purport, when I read this, I was like, oh, I'm doing this, man. I'm doing this, Prabhupada said, this should be the standard of determination for all Krishna conscious persons. A Krishna conscious person should be free from the clutches of Maya, and he should also be compassionate to all others suffering in those clutches. The activities of the Krishna consciousness movement are not meant not only for oneself but for others also. This is a perfection of Krishna consciousness. One who is interested in his own salvation is not as advanced in Krishna consciousness as one who feels compassion for others. and who therefore propagates the Krishna consciousness movement. Such an advanced devotee will never fall down, for Krishna will give him special protection. We want special protection? Preach. That's a special protection. This is the sum and substance of the Krishna consciousness movement. Everyone is like a play toy in the hands of the illusory energy and is acting as she moves him. One should come to Krishna consciousness to release oneself and also release others. Next purport and verse. Simply because I chanted, the Sanskrit is very amazing. Mamahamiti dehadu hitvam mityartha dhir matim dhasye mano bhagavati shuddham tat kirtanadibihi. Because I chanted the holy name of Lord Hari in the association of devotees, my heart is now becoming purified. Therefore, I shall not fall victim again to the false lures of material sense gratification. Now that I have become fixed in the absolute truth, henceforward I shall not identify myself with the body. I shall give up false conceptions of I and mine and fix my mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. How a living entity becomes a victim of material condition is lucidly explained in this verse. The beginning is to misidentify the body with oneself. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita begins with the spiritual instruction that one is not the body. This consciousness can be possible only if one chants the holy name of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and always keeps himself in the association of devotees. This is the secret of success. What's the secret of success?
The association.
I didn't hear you. What? And? Association and chant. Association of the devotees and chanting the holy names of Krishna. This is the definite secret of success. And if we simply prioritize association of the devotees, if you simply show up like you have, if you simply show up, then all your problems are solved. All you got to do is just show up. Just show up. Therefore, we stress that one should chant the holy name of the Lord and keep oneself free from contaminations of this material world, especially the contaminations of lusty desires for illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. With determination, one should vow to follow these principles and thus be saved from the miserable condition of material existence. The first necessity is to become freed from the bodily concept of life. So this should be our determination. We should take a vow to always be in the association of devotees, no matter what. No matter how bad our life is, no matter where we are in the spiritual world, no matter where we are in the material world, the association of devotees will make it like the spiritual world. Because wherever the devotees are, wherever there's Harikatha going on, that is an embassy for Vaikuntha. That is an embassy for the spiritual world. The association of devotees is an embassy, where one can be transferred to the spiritual world. No matter how amazing our family and all this may be, if they're not devotees, it's simply Maya looking very sweet while at the same time drinking your blood. Devotee association is most important. And, it may be like, we are also, I used to think, why should I associate only with devotees? My family, they're also Hindu, they're also nice people. At least they don't eat meat on Saturdays and Sundays like y'all have them. At least on Saturday, okay. Why Saturday and not anyway? At least they don't eat meat on Saturday and Sunday. Yes, we go to the temple. We have a temple also, yes. We support someone. What's the need to be in there? But no. We should be in the association of devotees. Why? Because Mayavadi Krishna and Aparadi. If you're not pure devotees of Krishna, then we're naturally Mayavadis. Actually. We only have two options. Pure devotional service or to be a Mayavadi. That's all. Why? Because one is envious of Krishna. Of course, you may be innocent. And the enviousness of Krishna. We're in this material world because we're envious of Krishna. So if one is not performing devotional service, they may very smilingly, very politely, very gently be envious of Krishna. So we should make sure that we are not in such a situation. We should make sure that we should always, every day, take a vow to reinstate ourselves in pure Krishna consciousness. Every morning, this should be our eternal vow. To always reinstate ourselves in pure Krishna consciousness. Every morning when we wake up. First thing when we wake up, we offer our obeisances to our spiritual master. We offer our obeisances to our spiritual master, knowing and understanding, this is because of him. I slept last night so I could wake up the next morning and serve him. Therefore, let me dedicate my entire day to serving my spiritual master. Vande Guru Shri Charana Arvindam. That's how we start off our day. That's how Prabhupada wanted to start off our day, right? We should chant Vande Guru Shri Charana Arvindam. Yes. Now, to this morning, I have woken up to serve, to dedicate this day to serve my spiritual master. This is why we've woken up. There is no other reason to wake up. If you're not going to serve a spiritual master, we might as well die. Actually, we might as well die. What's the use of living? What's the use of living? What's the use of carrying or dragging on this useless material existence? What's the point? What are we going to achieve? What are we going to achieve if you're not serving our spiritual master? What are we going to achieve if you're not practicing Krishna consciousness? To hell with our material life. The focus is to serve the spiritual master. Whatever our ashram is, we should be very diligent in performing our duties in service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the spiritual master. Was a 1, 2, 13. Ataf Pumbit Vijay Shrestha Varnashrama Vibhagashaha Swanatistasya Dharmasya Samsiddhi Haritoshanam. Anyway, don't worry about it. Then one should perform their Varnashram duties in accordance to in accordance to the pleasure of Krishna and the spiritual master, and by doing so, one will please Krishna. Samsiddhi Haritoshanam. You will please Krishna by doing so. If you're not doing so, we're really messing up our human form of life. We've attained this human form. It is very rare to attain a human form of life. We know this. Yes. It is rare to attain a human form of life. But what even rarer is to come in touch with the bona fide spiritual master. That's even rarer than attaining a pure devotee, than attaining a body of a human being. So if we have a human form of life, which is very rare, and then somehow or the other we've come in touch with the bona fide spiritual master, pure devotee, pure representative of Srila Prabhupada. Am I going in and out? I think the battery's dying. Huh? Yeah, and if we've come in touch with the pure devotee and pure representative of Srila Prabhupada, and if we've been initiated by them and gotten the great fortune, the great blessing of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if we don't take advantage of this, there's no one more unfortunate than us. Therefore, we should make it our everyday vow to stick to our vows of initiation. Every morning, reinstate yourself. Reinstate yourself. This is what I'm doing. This is my life's goal. If you're having difficulty, Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan, Tine Smarane Hoy, Vigya Vinashan, Anayashe Hoy Nisha Vanchita Puran. By remembering Guru, the spiritual master, Vaishnava, all the devotees, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of God, Guru Vaishnava, Tine Smarane Hoy, remembrance of all three of them, Vigya Vinashan, all your difficulties will be destroyed. Anayashe Hoy, all your other desires, Anayashe Hoy Nisha Vanchita Puran, all your other desires will be fulfilled. They'll all be fulfilled. Don't worry about your chapati problems. I already wrote Sienda problem, Whatever problem you may have, don't worry about it. Krishna will take care. Krishna is taking care of the ants and the beasts and the birds and the this and the that. Focus upon your vows. Focus upon chanting the holy names of Krishna. Focus upon Krishna. Make chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead the most important part of your day. There's nothing more important than this. Nothing else comes even close to something as important as this. So make it the most important part of your day. There's nothing to lose. Everything to gain, right? Do it today, don't delay. Everything to gain, nothing to lose. Right? That's Ram Prabhu saying, right? Do it today, don't delay. Everything to gain, nothing to lose. So what do we have to lose? Our material desires. What do we have to lose? Time, I don't have time. But Krishna's name is Sanat. Krishna is time himself. Now if you pray to Krishna, I want to chant my rounds, you think Krishna will not make time available for you? That's foolishness actually. That's insincerity. That's rascaldom. We should give up this nonsense mentality. We should hold on to our beads like a warrior hold on to his sword and shield or bows and arrows on the battlefield and fight for his dear life. Fight for your life. You're dying. Fight for your life. Chant the holy names of Krishna. Chant the holy names of Krishna. There's nothing more important than this. Chant the holy name. Save yourself before you save others. Chant the holy names of Krishna. Nikunja Ratikeli Siddhya Yayali Bhir Yukti Rapekshaniya Tatrati Dakshya Ativallabhasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. The spiritual master is serving Shri Radha and Krishna in the groves of Vrindavan. And Tatrati Dakshyat, he's very expert at throwing down a rope from the spiritual world. He's expert at throwing down a rope from the spiritual world. And can you get my bead back, please, bro? Yeah, can you get my bead back? He knows where it is. It's in the room. He's very expert at throwing down a rope from the spiritual world. And he tells the disciple, my dear disciple, please hold on to this rope. What is his rope? His rope, he has his instructions. And as long as you simply hold on to his rope, thank you. As long as you simply hold on to the rope of his instructions, he will pull you out of material existence. What better thing can a person do to you? The spiritual master, at the time of initiation, throws down this rope. He throws down this rope and he asks you to hold it. Hold on to it like it's your dear life. This is the most important rope that the spiritual master throws down to you. Don't give it up. Don't be a fool. Don't be a rascal. Hold on to this rope and chant the holy names of Krishna. Remember where we came from. This is the rope that the spiritual master is throwing. And if we hold on to this rope and give it all the attention we got, we will be pulled out of this material world right away. We are well-wishers, therefore we speak like this. Otherwise, people say, oh, you're so nice, Just eat prasadam every 5 months or something, But no. Hold on to it. Krishna consciousness, one should be serious, sincere, and strict in Krishna consciousness. You know who says that, right? One should be strict, serious, and sincere in Krishna consciousness. One should not waste their human form of life. What's the use of anything else? What is there of value in this world? Than the association of devotees in the holy name. That is the secret of success. It is the great boon of the spiritual master that we have the association of the devotees in the holy name. So let's not waste our human form of life away. Let's not waste our human form of life away. So many Prabhupada disciples, at the time of death, they actually chanted the holy names of Krishna. There's one of my Shiksha Guru, his name is Shyama Sundar Prabhu. He's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, not the famous chasing rhinos with the Swami Shyam Sundar Prabhu. Another Shyam Sundar Prabhu. Prabhupada had 3 disciples called Shyam Sundar Prabhu, actually. Shyam Sundar Das. And he had met with this brutal accident, a really bad accident he had met. And he was telling me he had met with a brutal accident, and he was almost on the verge of death. And, the only thing he could remember after meeting with that accident, you want to stand up? The only thing he could remember, and he told me after the accident, the only thing he could remember was he was completely surrounded by a pool of his own blood. And for some reason, he was holding his beads and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's the only thing he could remember from that entire accident. Because the pain was so much that you forget. Actually, the pain that we feel at birth is so strong that the mind is cognitive dissonance, just makes you forget it. That's how strong the pain is at the time of death. Another Prabhupada disciple, he was living in Calcutta. He had a shop. He would chant his rounds every day, come to Mangalati, read and, do all the things of devotional service. And then, he had met with an accident, and then, he would something happened, he was crushed by a lorry or something really bad, something happened, a truck accident, very bad truck accident, And the police officers, they came into the temple and they asked, do you know this person? And they were like, oh my God, yes. And they were in great separation and anxiety, thinking, oh my God, this person left. But they asked him, how did you know to come? They asked the cop, how did you know to come here? How did you know to come here? They said, because at the time of death, he held on to his beads. At the time of death, he held on to his beads and he was chanting. And he died holding his beads. That's how they knew to come to the temple. That is the way to go. That's the way to go. Chant the holy names of Krishna. That's the way to go. You see, if you don't have the mercy of our Guru, if you don't have the mercy of our spiritual master, we will not be able to remember the mantras at the time of death. If you read the Mahabharata, who couldn't remember mantras when they needed it the most? Karna. Karna couldn't remember the mantras when he needed it the most. Why? Because he displeased his master, spiritual master. He displeased Parshuram. Therefore, he couldn't remember mantra at the time of his death. You want to remember the Hare Krishna mantra at the time of your death? Please your spiritual master. Please him. Follow, and how do you please the spiritual master? What is love for the spiritual master? How is that defined?
Following the four other principles and chanting 16 hours.
Love for the spiritual master means sticking to the vows of initiation. That is what love is. It's not some loving, feeling, sentimental nonsense in the heart. This is what love for the spiritual master. Don't be like Karna, where you couldn't remember mantras when your life depended upon it. Don't be like that. Be like these great devotees who left this material world chanting the holy names of Krishna. Let's follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. Let's follow in his footsteps and make our life successful by taking to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra very seriously. So I'll end the class over here. If there's any questions or comments or protests, we can take them now. Anyone has anything? Yes. Janardhan Krishna Prabhu, my coach.
In this purport you were reading, in first canto, first chapter, 10th verse, Prabhupada talks about the different things that are prominent in the Kali Yuga, and it's like overeating, over sense gratification. What does this overdependence on another's mercy mean?
If you're fired, you're destroyed. If you're fired from your job, most people are destroyed. And because of that, they're always in complete fear of existence. Fear for the bare necessities of life. Complete fear, complete. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhavant Ugra Karma Chayaya Jagato Hitaha. This is in 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that the demons, what they do is they promote Ugra Karma. Ugra karmic activities. Yes, we need electric cars because that's going to save the environment. Nonsense. The uranium that's used in these electric cars is like so bad for the environment. And 10 years after the electric car's battery is used, uranium, it cannot be used again. You have to dump the uranium. And when you dump the uranium, gone. The earth, it becomes even worse. Someone was telling me that overall, in order to drill, gasoline or whatever out of the earth, you need so much of the natural gases. But to make the electric cars, it takes more natural gases. Therefore, it's completely Ugra Karma. It has nothing based on what they claim to base saving the environment. It's not true. So we can see all the activities that are going on in this material world is completely based on Ugra Karma. Now we have more hospitals than we ever did, but we have more diseases than we ever did. Honestly, in the family and all that I'm coming from, if you're sick, what you do is you go and you whisper in the ear of the cow that you see, I'm sick, I'm having this problem. And then the cow, being the mother, what she does is she knows what to do. So she wanders off, she goes somewhere, and she goes and she eats a particular type of grass. She goes and eats a particular type of grass and she comes back and she wants you to milk her. And you milk the cow and you drink the milk and your disease is solved. Because the cow knows what grass to eat and what's going to cure you. The cow knows it's a real thing. So I don't know if it goes on now in the villages of India, but that's stuff like that happens, all the time. In India, you'll say. And then so many things like this, So if you're living in this world, if you're living on a particular land, according to your guna and karma, there's a specific, the earth produces food and it also produces medicine for you. That's a natural situation. But now we go here, there and everywhere. And it's such an unnatural situation. For example, New York City, over-dependent on another's mercy. Now, one day, if the truck drivers decided to go on strike for a week in New York, everyone would starve. In New York, everyone would starve. Right? Over-dependent on another's mercy. Over-dependent. That's what it means. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When I first saw this statement, I kind of thought about the Christians. Also, how they just think that, it's just by the mercy of Jesus that I'm saved and I don't have to do anything.
Why just Christians? Hindus also say similar things. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, is that like a similar concept to what Prabhupada's talking about here, or is that something different?
From a philosophical point of view, you can't be overly dependent on someone's mercy. Actually, we are overly dependent on Krishna's mercy.
That's what I was thinking also.
But it's what they say is meaningless because dependence means accepting the shelter of someone. Now, we're living in Rasika Madhav Prabhu's house. So if we said, please don't go to that room. My wife and daughter is sleeping there. Now, if we keep walking by that room, that's not. It's like you're living in his house, but you're not following the rules. So you say, I'm depending on the mercy of Jesus, but you're not following his instructions. Yeah. That's how simple. So you understand like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, but we should be like over dependent on the mercy of like the spiritual master and Krishna.
Yeah, but it should not be like the Sahajyas where they say Guru Kripa hi kevalam. Like I'll do whatever nonsense I want, but I'll get Guru Kripa. Not like that. Guru Kripa, like the Prabhupada mythology, Prabhupada is so merciful. I can do anything I want, but Prabhupada is so merciful. I'll go break the four-legged principles. I'll like not chant 16 rounds. But I'll just say Jai Prabhupada. And Prabhupada being like this ever well-wishing old man will always like be very merciful to me. That is nonsense. I'm sure you experience. I'm definitely... People are not following the four-legged principles. They're not chanting 16. They're very confident that they're going back to Godhead in this life. What is this nonsense? So that's what it means. Yes.
I just want to make a comment on the point. Like there's dependence and there's over-dependence.
Yeah.
Like in a way, I can depend on my job, getting an income, but then if I become obsessed with this, without this job, I'm gonna die. So that's one way to look at it. Or I go on a vacation and a devotee is taking care of me. I'm like, if without this devotee is like helping me, I'm gonna die. So in a broader sense, it's seeing that everything is coming from Krishna, and whoever is there is but an instrument bringing it. Not that we should not be grateful to devotees and whoever. But in that gratitude, we should see them as an instrument of whatever is coming from Krishna. And even beyond that, we should see that anything that's coming that's good, anything that's coming as bad, it's all prasada meant for our benefit.
Yeah, that's how devotees see it, but we see that karmis, they're overly dependent. As far as we're concerned, we should always depend on Krishna's mercy. Always. Tatenu kambam susumikshmana bunjana evad makritam vipakam hridbhag vabhut vididam namaste jive toyo mukti pade sadaya bhak. That we should undergo all the pains and tribulations that we're undergoing and eagerly wait for the mercy of Krishna. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that the living entity has customized suffering. That Krishna customizes the suffering just for you. Like, your kind of suffering is perfect for you. And for me, my kind of suffering is perfect for me. For me to purify myself. So we understand like that. Anything else? Yes.
There's a question. It said we've been in the material world billions of lives. Something like that.
20 million lives, right? Minimum.
20 million. Okay, so I guess that sort of answers my question, but is it that at the time of the assimilation and manifestation of the single universe, the living entities come into that, and then no living entities come in after? Or is it that living entities can fall from the spiritual world directly?
I don't exactly know the details of that, but there's no point in knowing it either. What are we going to do by finding out, okay, what time, exactly when do they come, it doesn't make any difference. So.
Prabhupada, descended from the spirit.
That's different. That's completely different. That Prabhupada is coming out of his own on the order of Krishna. There's one memory of Prabhupada that, he's telling Bhavananda Prabhu, he's telling him that I was simply I was happily in the spiritual world with Krishna, and Krishna wanted me to come to this material world. And he said, no, Krishna, I don't want to go to this material world. Material world is horrible. He said, no, you go and you simply write your books, I'll take care of everything. Krishna told that to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada came to this world to simply write his books. So we understand it's different.
Yeah.
Anything else? Yes.
Okay, are you able to pull up some sparsons of Ugra? I just want to reflect on a point you made yesterday that if we see something belonging to other, like you were given the example of the policeman pretending to be drunk with the money, and as soon as somebody went to steal it, the handcuff clapped under their hand. And it kind of like resonates with this verse for me, like that the source of all our misery is this desire to enjoy the material world, and it's not something that's ours. So I think about like this world is booby trapped. You go grab something, the handcuff come on. So if we can walk through this life without trying to touch the sense pleasures that's hanging there to grab us, then in a detached way we can walk through, because the dangers in life are quoted very nicely.
Yeah.
So I like that point about
Crazy. Okay. Anything else? Okay. I guess now we can start chanting out, huh? Alright. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya. Kripasamudhyasya. Patitanam Pavanebhyo. Vaishnava.